Right then, so this past weekend has just shown the fight that we all have to see in the cruiserweight division is, of course, Jai Opetaia versus Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. This is a must-see fight. It must happen in 2025. These two are by far the best cruiserweights in the division right now. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I think the cruiserweight division's pretty dead overall. There's not a load of competition in it. I mean, obviously, Zurdo coming off a massive win over Chris Smith to unify the division. I mean, I think Smith's a massive win for Zurdo Ramirez this past Saturday. Opetaia is coming off a win against Jack Massey last month. And yeah, these two are levels above everyone in my opinion, but there's just not that real competition. I feel like once this fight's done, what other big fights are there to really make it cruiserweight? I think the division is pretty dead overall. Obviously, I think the top three in the cruiserweight division, obviously Zurdo, Opetaia, and Billum Smith. But Billum Smith, as Zurdo proved on the weekend, Billum Smith's quite a bit below what Zurdo and Opetaia are. I think overall, this is a class fight, Opetaia and Zurdo. Opetaia is looking really good right now with good power in his hands and, good agility as well. Light on his feet, got a good bounce, nice feints. He's unpredictable southpaw. Then you've got Zurdo, who's relentless, who can keep up a good pace. And he can really gain your respect with his shots. Good at getting up close and really being able to bully you, really. I think that this is a really interesting fight. Both guys southpaws, both guys got really interesting styles, and both guys are very tough. I've seen loads of people saying, oh yeah, Jai Opetaia is just going to walk through Zurdo, but that's not the case at all. Zurdo's a really dangerous guy, and I feel like Zurdo's learned a lot since he's lost to Bivol, and we saw in that Chris Smith fight, it was a class performance from Zurdo, and Zurdo's, improving every single time we see him, and let's be real, Chris Smith right now is the best win in the cruiserweight division, other than Zurdo beating Opetaia or Opetaia beating Zurdo. Zurdo's got the best win in the cruiserweight division right now, and made Chris Smith look really bloody easy. If we're being completely honest, he made it look really easy. With Opetaia in the cruiserweight division, obviously, got those wins over Breedis, but big controversy around the first one, especially. But yeah, I mean, both guys have got top wins in the cruiserweight division. Zurdo's more experienced, and I think overall Zurdo's been in there with the better guys overall in his career at light heavyweight and cruiserweight. I think overall, I've been critical of Opetaia's resume in the past and that people overhype it a bit, which I definitely do stand by 100%. And I think Zurdo can beat Jai Opetaia. I really do think he can. Jai can win, but to be fair, I think Zurdo's got a real good chance of winning. Sorry, my ears just do my absolute head in. That's why I'm touching it a lot. Anyway, I think that overall, star-wise, it's interesting because you've got Jai Opetaia. He's got very good agility, good bounce in his feet, very nice feints, very unpredictable. Then you've got Zurdo, who is a very good inside fighter, good at mid-range, very good at cutting the ring off, can box well on the back foot as well, Zurdo can, and he can just break you down. He's very relentless, Zurdo. He's very good at being able to keep up a good pace for the whole fight. And I think that's something that he can take advantage of in a Jai Opetaia fight. And that is Jai Opetaia's gas tank. And I feel like that's very questionable. And I think that's something that Zurdo can really look at and take advantage of. We see, in those Breedis fights with Opetaia, he's not great past the 7th round, really. He's knackered afterwards. And I think that's something that really can play into Zurdo Ramirez's favor, 100%. People talk about Zurdo's power not being great, but really, it gains your respect and it can break you down. I don't think Zurdo knocks out Opetaia. Opetaia is a ridiculously tough guy, and I also don't see Opetaia knocking out Zurdo. I think it's a fight that goes the distance, and it could be close on decision, or Zurdo possibly nicks it, or you never know. Opetaia could do enough earlier on and in the mid rounds to be able to nick a decision. I think it's a real good, interesting fight, which you never know could go either way. I'd lean towards Zurdo as the underdog, but it's a fight that's winnable for both. And I think that this is got to be next in the cruiserweight division. It's by far the biggest fight in the division. Let's be real. Both guys, big names from where they're coming from. Opetaia, Australia and Samoa. Zurdo, of course, a big name in Mexico. You know, they bring those audiences in. And I think we'll be in for an exciting fight. It's a main event worthy fight for a Saudi show. 100%. I think it's a great hardcore fan matchup. It really is. Stick it as a main event, back it up with a good solid undercard underneath it as well. It don't really need to be pay-per-view in the UK or anything. I don't think it needs to be. But get a decent undercard under it, and you get people happy. You would get people happy, and it's a good competitive fight that people will be able to debate over if they really fully look into it, because I think so many people just straight onto it saying, "Oh, Opetaia batters him." Based off what though? Based off what? This is a competitive fight where both guys are going to go at it with two different styles, and two guys who like to think a lot when they're in there, and they're going to try and outsmart each other and let's see who's the one who's going to be able to get their game going in the fight, because I feel like, it could either be close or it could just be really one-sided to the guy who's able to dictate the pace and be the one to really get their rhythm going in the fight. Or you never know, it could be a fight of two halves, which I think is pretty likely. Opetaia starting well, Zurdo really being able to, put in a good fight in the mid and late rounds. I think it's an interesting one. If Opetaia can hurt Zurdo early, then that makes it really interesting. If Zurdo can force it to go late, and then it is in Zurdo's hands here. But if Opetaia gain the respect of Zurdo early and try and get a beatdown going, then it's in Opetaia's hands. But if not, I think Zurdo's got the fight, in my opinion. But it's a really interesting one. This is by far right now the biggest fight in the cruiserweight division. It's one that must happen. It's one I go as far as saying it's one of the most intriguing fights in boxing right now. It really is. If you fully look into this fight, it's one of the most intriguing fights in sport boxing right now. And, we got to see it. And I believe that this fight will happen next. Both guys 100% probably want this fight. Let's get an undisputed going. And let's see, because these two guys are the biggest names in the division and are the best fighters in the division. Turki Alalshikh, make this one happen. Anyway, thanks for watching.